There's a version of you tonight that doesn't yell. It's about 30 seconds before the version of you that does, and your body already knows which one is coming. It sends a signal first, almost every single time. Most people never learn to read it until after they've reacted. Mine shows up in a few ways, one being a jolt, and another being a tisk, a right before I get angry. Nobody taught me to read these, they just happened, and I learned it the hard way. And during the years of wanting something different, I began to notice the space. Not a technique, just the room between a signal showing up and a reaction leaving, if you know to look for it. Somewhere along the way, everyone got sold the same idea. That regulation is something you reach for after the reaction. A count to 10 after you've already raised your voice. A deep breath after the door has already slammed. None of that's wrong. It just shows up after your body has already decided the outcome. What almost nobody talks about, especially in this space, is the noticing that could have happened first. A few years back, I came across this idea that the brain doesn't really react to the world, it predicts it, running a forecast built out of everything that already happened before. Think about a smoke detector. It can't see the fire. It just measures particles too small to see and matches them against an old threshold. Burn some toast and it would go off exactly like if it was a real fire. A body under enough old data, it does the same thing. Reactions get built the same way, out of the small, invisible things nobody thinks to count, quietly stacking until the detector goes off. See, my jolt would show up in a very particular way. It would come with a very specific thought attached to it, and the thought was something around, I wish I had done that differently. Looking back, the pattern underneath most of it was the same. I'd get pulled all the way into whatever was happening. No space left between what I had just felt and what was happening. Just absorbed by it. And the other little tick, that's the sound that I would make around something frustrating or annoying, not necessarily angry. However, it was priming me for the anger that was eventually going to burst. My mother would make the exact same noise too. I picked it up somewhere in my childhood, in the exact same way she used to do it when I was young. No joke, I had literally just noticed this 2 days ago, so this was unconscious to me from when I first picked it up until then. And what built out of all of it, without anyone meaning to build it, was a habit of me taking everything personally, treating ordinary moments as if they were aimed at me. And a lot of this came from my childhood, from how I was treated by the adults in my life. So that jolt, that thought of I wish I had done something differently, it's much weaker now as an adult because I've become a lot more aware of it. And the sound, I'm working on that. I still have my moments. However, I am able to notice it now. I'm able to notice the space in between the event and how I feel. The difference is being able to notice the tension and the story arriving together, and being able to notice the space in between them in order for me to separate myself from both. I'm going to share a story about this as well too. One day I was driving in midday traffic in Vancouver when I used to live there. And when I had gotten past 15 minutes of construction traffic on Granville Street, I had taken a different route this time, going home. And then as soon as I saw the construction truck, I said, it's always something with this fucking city. But then immediately after, I told myself, notice the space between you and the construction truck. That's one of the first times I've been able to catch it right after, and I haven't stopped noticing it. Some days are a little more difficult than others. However, that space between me and the outside world has always been there, and it's much easier for me to notice, especially in those kinds of moments. And in that traffic situation, if I had missed it, I would have set the temperature for the whole day, and thinking that it was somehow aimed directly at me to ruin my day. And it's almost guaranteed that I during that traffic jam right before. There's a simple way to think about where you're at any given moment. Call it a ladder. Mild is the bottom step, a little tightness, nothing else you would notice yet. And the step where naming it costs the least and does the most. Moderate's the middle step, loud enough now that ignoring it takes real effort. Snaps, the top step, the one everybody already knows. Most people only ever meet this ladder at the very top, because nobody ever taught them that the bottom step has a name. The jolt, the tight chest, the clenched jaw, they were never random, and they were never proof that there was something wrong with who you are. They're just the earliest readable point in a forecast your body already started running. This is what presence actually means here. Those 2 minutes didn't run completely unnoticed, and that's what buys you clarity. A named signal stops looking like an emergency and starts looking like information. Choice only shows up after that. If nobody ever showed you how to notice your own signal after tonight, there's a next step built for exactly that, and I'll show you exactly where at the end. Just stick with me. If a part of you is thinking that you don't have time for this, it's smaller than you'd expect. One question under 5 seconds. Where is it right now? Jaw, shoulders, hands, stomach, chest. Would you hold that tension? Try it when you wake up or before you go to sleep. The 2 minutes where mind tends to be the most receptive. Because once you can name your own signal, the next fourth question in a row feels different. Your kid gets the parent who catches the forecast early, minutes before the loud version ever shows up. This is what actually would have helped me, and I've thought about it more than anything else in this project. Not a technique, 2 sentences. What are you feeling? I'm here with you as you sit with it. And it's okay to feel. It's not okay to hurt others because of how you feel. Nobody said either of these 2 sentences to me as a child. I'm saying this now, to whichever kid is sitting across from you tonight. The next time you feel the first small tightening of the chest, your jaw, your stomach, your hands, name it before anything else happens. Then take one long exhale, longer than the inhale that came before it, and notice the space in between you and the feeling. That's the whole practice. There's a free next step that's built exactly around this. It's called the Reactive Parent Reboot. The link is in my bio, and it takes about one length of a breath to get to. And to end this, I spent years living inside a forecast I never learned to read early. You just got hours to learn yours before tonight even happens.